Hi, my name is Joe Bartolomeo. I'm an Oregon-based Social Security disability lawyer. I have offices in Astoria, Oregon and Hillsboro, Oregon. I represent claimants who are seeking disability benefits before the Office of Hearings and Appeals in the Portland, Oregon office. I have been to other hearings offices, but that's usually where I do most of my work. And I represent clients who are located in Northwest Oregon and Southwest Washington. In today's video, I'm going to talk about where medical opinions come from and how they are important, what role they play in establishing your entitlement to disability under the Social Security disability statute. So I think the first place to start out, a good place to start out, would be where these medical opinions come from. So let's start there. So the first thing that I see when I open a file, or at least when I get a claims file, is the medical opinions that form the basis of a claim denial. People don't come to me if their claim's been approved. They come to me when their claim has been denied. And in the claims file, there's a document called the Disability Determination Explanation. And that is a document that kind of walks through how the claim was denied, what kind of information was used to deny the claim. When your claim is initially reviewed at the Disability Determination Services Office, the disability analyst, which is kind of like a claims adjuster, will send your file to a medical expert. The medical expert is usually a physician who is retired or not actively seeing patients, or maybe they are seeing patients but not that often, and they will review the medical records in your file along with the questionnaires and other forms that you filled out, and they'll form an opinion about what kind of medical issues you have and how much they impair or limit your ability to work. Those doctors, according to media accounts, may spend as little as 15 minutes reviewing your file, and they don't examine you. They just look at your file, and based on that, they form an opinion about what they think you could do on a sustained basis in a work environment. And the key is it's an opinion. But the state disability analyst at the DDS, or Disability Determination Services Office, will usually accept that opinion in determining what it is you're able to do and not do, and whether you're disabled. So that's the first place where you will see a medical opinion. The second source of a medical opinion, again, early on in the case, either at the initial denial or the denial of your reconsideration, may come from a consultative examination. I don't see these as often as I did in the years past, but in some cases, especially mental health disability cases, the disability analyst will send you to a consultative exam. And it's an examination that the, it's an examination that the disability analyst will schedule. And it's usually with a physician who does a lot of these exams on behalf of the Social Security Administration or the Disability Determination Services Office. These examiners I see over and over and over again. It's usually the same doctor or psychologist. They cover a certain geographic area and they do these examinations all the time. In my experience and in my opinion, these physicians are very conservative about their opinions about what my client can do and not do, and they usually will find that my client is able to do certain work activities. It's based on a 45-minute, sometimes it's a lot less than that, examination, and a report that's written to the disability analyst at the Disability Determination Services Office for Social Security. So that's the second source that I identify definitely early on in a case where a determination is being made. Now, as you move further along on a claim, for example, after a request for hearing, I might go to my client's treating doctor if I feel like it would be helpful and get an opinion from the treating doctor or mental health provider or psychologist about how limiting my client's impairments are in terms of their ability to do work. And in the Social Security world, that is called a treating source opinion. Now, a few years ago, the rules that dictated how judges, Social Security administrative law judges, reviewed opinions basically required that the judge give some more weight to the treating physician opinion or the treating source opinion. And that's because usually the treating source has a much better idea of what's going on with their patient than a doctor who reviewed some medical records for 15 minutes. But those rules have changed. And there's a lot of discussion now whether federal appeal court decisions or cases still carry the same weight in how these treating doctor medical opinions have to be evaluated. But that is another source of an opinion on the Social Security disability claim. And when I'm involved in a case, that's usually something that we've generated when we consult with a doctor or a mental health provider like a social worker or a counselor. Now, the other area where you'll see a medical opinion is from a medical expert, and that's somebody who testifies at a Social Security disability hearing, and that's done or that happens at the hearing. We'll get a notice from the judge that they've hired or retained a medical expert to testify, and that doctor or physician or psychologist is providing testimony at the hearing. Now, these doctors, we usually, not all the time, but we will see the same psychologist pop up on a case. I think that has to do more with the preference of the administrative law judge. Also, I think it's interesting that we'll see these doctors testifying from all over the country. I've had doctors from North Carolina, Texas, all over the country testify as a medical expert at the hearing. And these doctors, like every other doctor that's involved with medical legal opinions, have their own philosophies. Some of them are more conservative than others. So that's another source of a medical opinion that will often decide the outcome of your case. So that's the sources. Those are examples of the sources of where these medical opinions come up. So in the next part of my video, I'm going to kind of put it together and talk to you about how those medical opinions affect the outcome of your case. All right, so in this last part of the video, what I'm going to cover is kind of why these medical opinions are important, how they affect the outcome of your case, those kinds of issues. So really what it's going to turn on, and I'm going to kind of fast forward to a disability hearing, because I honestly don't see medical opinions that you've generated from your own doctor really having much of an impact at the first appeal, which is the reconsideration request. It does happen, but oftentimes at the reconsideration appeal, the disability analyst is going to send your file to another set of doctors or doctor to review, and those doctors are going to spend some time reviewing your records, and more times than not, actually the vast majority of the time, when you've requested reconsideration, the bad news is that your reconsideration claim will probably be denied. So in this part of the video, I'm going to talk about how these medical opinions impact the outcome of the hearing, where you go to a hearing in front of an administrative law judge. Now, when you have a hearing in front of an administrative law judge, and I have a video that talks about it, that judge is not bound or limited by any prior decisions that were made on your case. So that judge has the ability to review all of the medical opinions that are in your file. And the one source of medical opinion that I didn't talk about is a state-based benefit review of your state-based benefits. You'll see that in the state of Washington, where the Department of Social and Human Services, DSHS for short, will have a doctor review records to see if you still qualify for DSHS benefits. Those opinions will often find their way into your Social Security disability exhibit file, and they will also be evaluated by the administrative law judge. But the way these opinions determine the outcome of your case really turns more on which opinion the disability judge, the administrative law judge, will adopt in making an opinion. And what happens is the administrative law judge will review the opinions from these different doctors and decide which one is more persuasive. And this is the most often appealed issue when my client gets an unfavorable decision. But what this judge is going to do is look at all these opinions, find the one that they feel is the most persuasive, and then basically explain in their decision why they think this opinion is most persuasive. And sometimes what I think happens is the judge has decided that they're going to deny the request for hearing appeal, and they're going to issue an unfavorable decision. And really what they're doing is they're finding an opinion that will justify that decision. It happens, and we make that argument. So what we try to do when we get an opinion from a treating source or another doctor is to make sure that that opinion is thorough, that it's based on an accurate review of the medical records, and that it explains the basis of their opinion about what your limitations are. So the short end of this, or the short version of this, is that the medical opinions, it's not so much how the medical opinion determines the outcome of your case, it's which medical opinion the judge is going to adopt in making a decision on your case. And really that's going to be tied to all of the other information in your claims file. So I hope this video helps you. If you have questions, you can call us. You can check out our disability guide that I'll post a link to below. I also will post a link to our contact page if you have questions. But again, I say this in every Social Security video that I post, or at least I try to. There are strict time limits involved in appealing your case, so keep that in mind. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact us. If we are not able to help you, we will find somebody who can, or at least will point you in the right direction. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.